the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who want it until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just be right on doing what he's doing.
Attacking and murdering a bunch of innocent people, or we're for Israel ethnic cleansing. No, how about this? I'm not part of your operation. And I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to watch my life ruined and my children's life ruined while you put your wreckage in my country. I demand Benjamin Netanyahu take 20 Palestinians in his house. And I demand his candy-ass son in Miami suit up in body armor and go to Gaza and fight these people or get the hell out of my world. And I don't say that because I hate Jews. I say that because I'm not a toilet bowl you sit on and shit on. I'm not here to eat your fucking shit. You fucking got that? And I'm sick of
Well. Americans are sick of being shit on by global politicians.
That we are. We are tired of it because I don't want to be involved in another war in the sandbox in the Middle East for some person to make more money. I don't like the fact that all of our politicians are bought and paid for by lobbies coming from that part of the world. Americans are sick and tired of it.
He makes a good point. You know, we should just send all 20 Palestinians and just put them in Netanyahu's home. How would he like that? You want to bring them over here? You want to ship them elsewhere? Why don't you take them in?
Yeah. Well, I think Benjamin Netanyahu's got other plans for the Palestinians than housing them.
What is he going to do with them, Micah?
Oh, not have them in Israel. He's planning on wiping Gaza off the map and making that all Israel. We've already seen Israel's land grab. Do you think he's going to stop and allow there to be a two-party solution? No, not at all.
And you know the best part is we're funding all this.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, my hard work and all these Americans, all of our hard work is funding all this. It doesn't get better than that.
Doesn't get better at all.
But, I mean, what's new? We've been doing this for how many years?
At least since World War II.
Yeah.
All the proxy wars we got into. For what?
Yeah, they're never our war, man. We're just we fund wars. American industrialism loves to fund war. It's when you really look at the money and see that it's large corporatism and large industrialism that is funding all these wars, and it's got to stop.
It does.
Will it stop?
No, not at all. There needs to be a radical shift in government to get this to stop, because who's going to stop it? Chuck Schumer? Do you think he has an interest in keeping war going?
Nah, yeah. AIPAC pays him too much money.
AIPAC pays him way too much money. Do you think Joe Biden wants to stop getting money from Ukraine? Nah, that's his bread and butter right there. That's how he makes the dough. Do you think that Nikki Haley, our UN ambassador, wants to stop war? Nah, she's getting paid by Boeing to make more bombs, make more planes, and make more missiles.
And she's getting paid to, verify everybody on social media. So, well, we're all sick of it. We're here calling out government corruption. That's what we do. We realize that government doesn't really solve your problems. Yeah, they may give you some nice roads somewhere. But Thomas Sowell's favorite quote, there's no political solutions. There's only trade-offs. And I think that Americans, if they can break free and understand their true potential, I think they can understand that we don't need large government. This whole thing that, oh, well, what would you do if you didn't have the government? You wouldn't have roads to drive on. Like the private market can't make roads.
No, that's the thing, is we wouldn't be needing to pay 39% of our wages and taxes in order to have roads. There's toll roads for a reason. There's private roads for a reason. We don't need the government to maintain our shoddy roads for our own benefit. We've already seen with Domino's, where Domino's basically said, we'll fix the roads because the government isn't doing it. We're tired. It's less expensive to fix the roads than all the repairs we had to do on cars. Business, capitalism works. The government's tyrannical reign of holding people's money hostage and spending it however they see fit doesn't.
It doesn't. And, well, we're going to work tonight. Thanks for being here. It is episode 64 of BasedCast. Man, we're running deep. It's November 20th, almost done with the year. We're a year away from the election, so it's getting hot, heavy. Good time to start a podcast, start a channel of awakening people to government corruption. So, man, we're going to be getting into it today. Javier Milei, if that's how you pronounce his name. He's Argentina president, first libertarian president. We'll be talking about that today. Elon Musk, turning into a martyr for free speech here. He's advocating. He said he spent this $44 billion on, trying to fight for free speech. It wasn't just about having ownership rights of a social media company. He's out there trying to save free speech. And he's launching rockets, too, which is pretty cool. And then also a couple other clips to follow as well. So thanks for being here. Let's get into the show today. Well, Mike, I'm surprised you didn't pack your bags and move to Argentina.
A libertarian is in office. See, we're about to see what a libertarian can do. Us anti-caps, we're ready to reign.
This man really gives me hope for a political career. If someone can go off and call shit leftists, call people cunts, sorry for the vulgar language, we usually don't go there, but that's literally what the man says on television. It gives me hope for a political career, because apparently this is what the Argentina people want. Everybody in America that's on the libertarian side, conservative side, is kind of, supporting this guy. But we do have some questions about him. But let's go to some clips here of Mr. Javier. Let's fix that really quick. That always does that to us. Seems to be about every single day. So give me just a second here. You have to love technology these days. I don't know, folks. I don't know why that does that every day. I'm about to just quit. Yep, we're just gonna quit. Okay, cool. So we're here. AP News. He's the Argentine president. But let's show the videos of this man and his hype. Man, look at that energy, dude. Some people tell him to pipe down and calm down. What do you think? You like his energy?
Oh, I love his energy. This is what happens when libertarians take over.
Yeah. Man, this guy's a legend. So he kind of looks like some character out of like Hogwarts with the haircut. Like he looks like he might be a professor in Harry Potter movie or something. But man, who cares what you look like? It's not about what you look like. It's about what you can do.
And he can break it down on the dance floor. Look at him go.
Yeah, dude, he can definitely go. But I want to play. This is my favorite clip, not this one. We're losing the clip, so we'll just play this one while I pulled up the other one. Don't give those shit leftists an inch. Alright, we're trying to pull up the one that I wanted to show you, but you can watch this one. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Oh. We're having all types of technical issues, folks.
See, this is what happens. We let a lady into our studio once, and I'm telling you, this is a pirate ship here.
Here we go. So there's subtitles on this, but this is the best. Basically, all of these: Ministry of Culture, out. Ministry of Environmental Sustainable Development, out. Ministry of Women, Genders, and Diversity, definitely out.
Get rid of that one here,
definitely
too.
Burn it down. Ministry of Public Works, out. Out. Did someone speed it up, or is he just this quick? The thievery of politics is over. Now, only if we had a candidate like that here in America.
I know. I love how he's making the government so much smaller there. And I do think it's really interesting, and I do think that we are seeing a backlash against socialism and communism, because we've seen Lula. He was the communist guy who just got elected in Brazil. And right now, he's going up against the woke left. He's going up against the globalists. He's going up against the people who want to see Argentina fail because they can't have a smaller government. Because right now, he's ripping people's names off. He's going after the Argentinian deep state. What does that mean for him? How many problems are we going to see? And real quick, this is just a quick observation I'm going to make. You just pulled up Bloomberg. What is Bloomberg's big sponsor at the very top?
Bayer.
Big Pharma.
Big freaking pharma. You gotta love it.
Yeah, that's
They're everywhere.
Part of the reason why we don't have freedom here in America or freedom over the world is because our news is brought to you by Big Pharma. Well, I'm happy to see that. And so Big Pharma is now telling us about the Argentinian election, which I find really interesting, and it's one of those big problems that we see, and I'm hoping that he sets a precedent for the rest of the world, and he almost gives the permission for other libertarians who want smaller government, who want to disband the corporate oligarchy that we have in many different countries, because we see it here in America. Just think how bad it is all over the world. Because if we have the problem here, like I said, if when America catches a cold, all the rest of the world gets AIDS.
Yeah, it's really sick that our American media and media of the world is making money off the death of the death of people, because that's what drives Big Pharma is, constant pushing of medication and no real cures to anything. But let's get into what Mr. Javier says here. Just a couple things. I think we can agree with him on these. He says that redistributing wealth is a violent act. So we see what do we see from the left all the time? They want to, Paul Harvey, he in the clip that we have in the same speech, we don't have it clipped in there, but he says, if I were the devil, I'd take from those that had and give to those that don't have. And that's essentially what redistributing wealth is, and that's what these people are doing. They see an inequality somewhere. They think it's unfair, so they think that they should take your taxpayer dollars and redistribute to other people. And we can see just how that destroys an economy like this.
Yes, and I think we can take it even further than that, because not only is taxation theft, and let's say I broke into your home and I started stealing all of your belongings. Or let's say someone broke into the studio and started stealing our microphones, our cameras, every single thing that we had here. That would be an act of violence against us. So now, when the government goes to us and say, hey, we're going to take your money from you with the enforcement of the IRS, who has the backing of the United States military and the police, that is violence against the American people, because if you don't give me your belongings, if you don't give me your money, you get the arm of you get the gun held to your head saying, are you gonna give us your money or not? Yeah, the guy who mugged me, who took my wallet, he didn't need to hit me because he had a gun held on me. I'm not gonna go up against him. That is what violence is, because if someone held a gun to me and robbed me, everyone would say that was violence. Everyone would say, oh wow, he used violence against you in order to, or even the threat of violence, which is still, like, assault is the threat of violence. They use the threat of violence against us in order to rob from us. And not only that, there's a second tax that most people don't see. Most people only can feel the effects of: inflation. You get taxed in so many different ways because the Federal Reserve, what they do is they print infinite money. There is no end to how much money they can print. And it devalues the cost of... It devalues the price of your dollar so that everything else is more expensive. Oh, yeah, so meat was $2 cheaper 2 years ago? Yeah. Well, that's a 200% tax. I remember I was looking at meat in between after Donald Trump got elected and after Joe Biden got in, it doubled. The price went from $1 to $2. That was just pork. Lean hogs has gone crazy. Lean hogs is called the new gold rush right now because meat prices have gone up so high, and that is a hidden tax.
Yeah. There's an infamous tweet where someone posted in 2020, just before Trump left office. I I wouldn't have the knowledge to be able to pull it up. But he posted all the prices of like all of our common goods, everything that everybody uses, and then compare it to now, and it's just like everything's doubled. I mean, especially gasoline, milk, eggs, all this stuff. And it's obviously when you see gas prices go up, everything else goes up because energy costs just drive everything else up. But man, 143% inflation, that's quite a doozy. Quite the doozy. What else does he say? So he says he called the climate change a lie of socialism. Now, Micah, we've never touched on this on the show. Like, what are your thoughts on climate change? I kind of think it's a corporate scam, maybe the hysteria. I think we need to take better care of the environment like we do or really terribly. You know, China's producing all that coal, but we can't produce anything energy-wise. It's mostly a corporate scam, if you ask me, and they put this massive existential crisis behind it. But what do you think about that?
The people in power want more control over us. They do not allow the things that actually would stop climate change, but what they want is the control over everyone around them. So here's something really interesting. Can you do me a quick favor? And I believe it is called Operation Liberty or Operation Freedom. I want you to fact check me on this one because this one is really interesting, and I want the people to see this one. Actually, just type in Nixon 1000 nuclear power plants. It'll pop up. It's either Operation Freedom or Operation America, or it's something very patriotic. Nixon, 4 months before he was kicked out of office or had to leave office, he had a plan to instate 1,000 new nuclear plants in America, and it would have gone...
By the year 2000.
By the year 2000, there would have been he would have wanted 1,000 nuclear plants to be in America. 4 months later, he gets kicked out of office. Interesting. Weird connection. Maybe that's a question for Sean. He's wearing this tinfoil hat around here. But what my point is, Nixon had a plan to make America's energy cheaper and freer than ever before. He was going to make over, I believe it's 200% more electricity available than America actually uses now. And they got rid of him. I'm not saying it's connected. I'm just saying it's interesting. There are many other things where that whole policy ends up dying. Oil and gas, they take over, and then they say, hey, you right there, Zane, your carbon footprint's a little bit high. Yeah, I know the top 100 corporations produce the most carbon out of anyone else, but your carbon footprint, your burger that you eat, that's causing harm to the earth. Why don't you eat the bugs? We see the amount of control that they put over us, and anyone who stands up against it is made the enemy of the state. What happened with Nixon? He spied on a political opponent. Oh, what did we see with Obama? Didn't he do the same exact thing? Didn't he bug the towers and use the FBI in order to watch what Trump was doing and start looking into that? Didn't he do the same exact thing, if not worse, because there's also the Steele dossier trying to frame him for so many different things?
Yeah, it makes Nixon's thing look like child's play.
Makes Nixon's thing look like child's play. You're 100% right. And because of that, we do not have cheap electricity, and now we have to worry about our carbon footprint because carbon's the worst thing in the world.
And that's why they're trying to push this digital ID. It's all part of the CBDC, the digital ID. They're somehow going to tie it with the carbon thing too, where you're producing too much carbon. We can track, and that's why they want your data. That's why they want all your biometrics and as much data as possible to manipulate you and control what you do.
I'm 100% with that. And I think we can draw a parallel to what we see about them hating the white Christian man, because if they can make the people of America and the people of the world then say, hey, maybe I am the problem. Maybe I need to step back because I myself am the problem. And if I keep on being involved in this thing, if I am the reason why the earth is heating up and so many problems happen, all these climate disasters, maybe I shouldn't address this. Maybe I should let the Faucis of the world address this. The guys in white coats, they're the ones who can fix this. All of our experts at the CDC and at the FDA and at the EPA, They're the ones who can fix all of our problems. And that's one of the reasons, I'm going to tie this back in with Argentina. That's one of the biggest reasons I am super excited to see a libertarian, anarcho capitalist be in power, because I want to see what actually happens. Will he be able to fight Argentina's deep state? I'm hoping so. Will he be able to take down the globalist control over his country? I hope so. Will he be able to take down the Federal Reserve of his own company, stop inflation with common sense Austrian economics type thought? I hope so.
Well, he better tell everybody today that he is not suicidal.
He's not spying on the opponent's camp, you know?
Yeah. Well, I love his governing philosophy. You can't give the shit leftists an inch. This is what he says in one of the videos that we accidentally played. That's what he says. You can't give these shit leftists an inch. Imagine if Donald Trump talked like that. I mean, he says some pretty brash things, which I love.
Pennsylvania.
What happened so perfectly? Why didn't they try to steal the election from him?
That is a good question. I'm surprised that he won. I am deeply surprised because generally what you see when a populist rises up is the deep state, the machine, the matrix, whatever you want to call it, tears them down, steals the election, takes everything from it. Do you think it's like one of those Trump anomalies where maybe they didn't see it coming because they didn't think he was a threat? I think it could be something like that, where they didn't put their cheating plans in motion, have all the Chinese printed ballots in Argentina ready to steal the election from them. I think that there would be shenanigans, and there is going to be shenanigans the next time we see him run, because they can't allow someone like that to exist. He is a threat to their very order. He's a threat to their very way of life. And if more people get a hold of the idea of liberty, and as our good friend and contributor Sean likes to say, sometimes the tree of liberty needs to be
watered with the blood of tyrants.
Yes.
I'll finish it for you so they can't clip us.
They can't clip us, exactly.
Oh, I love it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so one of the things I do see here is I am super excited for the fact that he is in office, because I want to see humanity thrive underneath true freedom. I want to see people be able to awaken from the mind control that they're underneath, that the government's been pushing on them nonstop. So I am a big fan of this.
Well, we got Javier Milei. I keep wanting to say Malone. Javier Milei is, fighting freedom for his country. And we got Elon Musk out here too. At first, I wasn't so sold on Elon Musk. I'm not a huge fan of the AI, the carbon taxes, the self-driving cars. I mean, it's all cool technology. He is launching rockets to prove that there's a firmament, right? You knew this, right, Micah? Have you heard this theory? I know it's just a crazy. I'm just putting my tinfoil hat on for a second.
Where's Sean?
I know we need Sean for this show, because this is what some people on Twitter were saying. They're like, he's just trying to prove that there's a firmament and the Earth is flat with his rocket launch on Saturday. But no, in all honesty, he's out there fighting free speech. So we've got this watchdog group, Media Matters. Are you familiar with Media Matters? Okay, so founded by David Brock, which is ironically he's married to James Alefontis. Comet Pizza owner. We're not going to go down a Pizzagate rabbit hole. We'll leave that to Liz Crokin and her friends. But the split second court opens on Monday. X-Corp will be filing a thermonuclear lawsuit against Media Matters and all those who colluded this fraudulent activity. So basically, what they're doing is they're creating fake accounts to manipulate the public and advertisers. Let's see here what Mr. Muck says. We'll be filing that thermonuclear lawsuit for deceiving advertisers and completely misrepresenting the real user on X. This week, Media Matters for America posted a story that completely misrepresented the real user experience on X in another attempt to undermine freedom of speech and mislead advertisers. Now, they had a post. They showed, Media Matters shared a report Thursday that showed white nationalists and anti-Semitic conspiracy theories next to ads for like Apple, Bravo, IBM, Oracle, Xfinity, and Comcast. And let's see. Oh my gosh, I'm all over Twitter losing my stuff here. Okay, here it is. or not. Sorry, I do not have my shit together tonight, guys. I apologize. I do not have the article. Let me pull it up here.
Oh, here's one thing.
Speak onto this.
Here's one thing that's kind of interesting. You mentioned Pizzagate, and I think one of my favorite aspects of
Are we going there? We're going there.
Mildly. One of my favorite aspects of Pizzagate, whether it's real or not, okay, I'm not going there, but the ABC journalist pled guilty to having child pornography in his possession. Oh, wow. The journalist who was able to break the story, proving just how wrong it was, is a child sex predator. And you kind of go like, oh, there's no connections here at all. I'm glad he proved for us that there is no child exploitation when he himself is holding on to exploitative child material.
And you have Stacey Abrams' brother just got caught with a bunch of, sex trafficking as well in, I believe, in Florida somewhere. So yeah, it's totally prevalent. But as we digress, here is the post that Media Matters is. And now they're being accused of faking these screenshots. Media Matters screenshots show Apple ads being served next to this content. Who really knows? Media Matter is just a smear campaign. They're not really a true fact-checking organization that really cares about, having fair and honest media. They work for one side. They work for the corrupt establishment, and they don't have our interest in mind, just like every other entity in the United States that's large and has lots of taxpayer dollars. What do you make of this, Micah? Well, you think Elon Musk is doing a good thing here? You think he's gonna make any headway with this?
I hope he makes some headway with this, because I'm still skeptical of his acquisition of Twitter. I'm still skeptical of him as a person. I'm still skeptical, as you said, of the AI. And I do think in a lot of ways we need to really look into him a bit more, because I'm hoping that Elon Musk isn't screwing us, so to speak, in this whole thing. I am really hoping that Elon Musk is able to blow open the doors and just show, hey, this is the way that they control your mind. This is the way that they are actually limiting your free speech, because they don't want you to think. Media Matters is a mouthpiece. If you want to go into the video that we saw a couple days ago that we had as our opening, where there are certain intelligence agencies that are inside of our media apparatuses that are pushing their message onto us, I hope that he blows that whole thing wide open. We already saw that with the Twitter files quite a bit, where you had the executives at Twitter taking direct orders from the United States government. And I want to see more of it, because there's so many more rabbit holes. There's so many more truths to come out about what our intelligence apparatuses, what the FBI, and even what foreign countries are doing to American citizens, trying to control their minds through one of the biggest weapons to ever exist, Twitter. Twitter's the biggest weapon probably to ever exist in free speech. So I want to see his $44 billion acquisition actually matter and actually do good for humanity by enabling free speech to reign. And I'm sick and tired of people like the ADL, Media Matters, and every other organization that's trying to take him down of their nonsense, because it is complete nonsense that we shouldn't have free speech and that the corporations should curate what we see.
Yeah, and I mean, let's see some things. This was a couple years ago, what Media Matters did when Jack Dorsey was in charge of Twitter. Owen Schroyer was suspended on Twitter in 2020 on behalf of Media Matters because he was encouraging people to go to a rally because of a social distancing order.
I'm glad they're keeping us safe.
Yes, they care about your safety. They care about how safe you are, and they just don't want you to get a very very bad virus. One that's 99%, like not dangerous.
And one of my favorite aspects of this is looking at it in the perspective of what was going on in this month during the lockdown. Was there a certain riot that every single news organization was telling you to go out and start protesting during?
Mm-hmm. And then what did they tell you? They said that it doesn't spread COVID, and you're fine if you're protesting racial injustice. Most likely with the recent events.
Interesting.
How much money do you think she takes from AIPAC?
A lot more than she should be.
Yeah, we tried searching. We couldn't find her name. It was we went to Open Secrets, and it was just senators and congressmen. We maybe do a deeper dive, but that's besides the point. Judge is co-judge finds Trump engaged in insurrection, but can stay on the state's 2024 ballot. So I will let you play I'll play this video. Sorry, been a long day. I'm a little tired. I'll play the video and let you guys decide.
You said to me then, which literally almost every Secretary of State in the country to whom NBC has spoken said, that you're likely not going to be the last voice on this thing. You can do what you may think you need to do, but this is definitely going to the courts. So that's what happened in Colorado. It went to the courts, and lots of people are surprised by what happened yesterday. Are you?
Well, first off, thanks for having me on, Allie. Always great to be on your show. And yes, this is a surprising ruling. I think you are really hitting it on the head.
Those eyes, though, dude.
Idea
Deep.
that any official who would engage in insurrection would be barred from taking office, except.
So my question for you, Micah, is in what court was he found guilty for insurrection?
I'm thinking, and
he wasn't.
He
wasn't. There was an impeachment that was failed on this whole on the behalf of it, but he wasn't. So they're just living in their own bubble, like he was indicted insurrection, or he was, found guilty of insurrection, and that's what they do. They create their own narrative, and they create their own idea to validate their talking point. We have due process in this country, but we continue.
The presidency is incredibly surprising. That basically means that the presidency is a get-out-of-jail-free card for insurrection. As someone who cares deeply about the state of our democracy, I find that very troubling. The American people need to know that the president, the person, if anybody, the person most in charge of protecting the Constitution, actually has a duty to do so. So I'm right there with you. I find it very troubling that the president of the United States could engage in insurrection, and unlike everybody else, could then be president again.
You said
so. We can see they like to convict him in the court of public opinion, because again, there is no jury that found him guilty on insurrection. Now my question is, do you think his words were enough to incite insurrection? They say the fight like hell. He stand down. He didn't bring the National Guard. And you had people telling him not to bring in the National Guard, like more on the left side, don't bring in the National Guard. What do you think?
I think that January 6th happened. I think the audience knows my opinion on what actually happened during January 6th. I think one of the most interesting things is what happened right after. They tried to impeach him. They went after him hard, calling him insurrection, using that word over and over and over. Because now it's in the zeitgeist of the American people. And when the American people hear insurrection, they go, oh, yeah, January 6th, he tried to overthrow the government. Yeah. That 80% of the people were still plugged in. They aren't able to think critically through what actually happened. They're not able to understand that there wasn't an actual insurrection. The media was parroting that word over and over and over again.
Yeah, you watch the news coverage. You just go back and watch the news coverage, Google it on YouTube, look at a mainstream article. It's all going to be in favor of Trump looking bad. I watched it. I was working that day when I watched it. You watch the mainstream, because where I was at, they had CNN on the TV, and you watch it and it looks bad. It looks terrible, the coverage that they give of it. But it really wasn't when you look at all the footage, and it was mostly peaceful that day. Yeah, sure, were there some people that might have broken some windows, slammed some glass, but it's pretty crazy because it's an insurrection and there was zero gun violence other than the one officer that shot Ashley Babbitt.
So what you're saying is that a armed officer murdered a unarmed civilian who was protesting.
A black man killed a white woman. That's what happened.
Where is the police brutality crowd when that happens? When a let's even take color out of it altogether. When an armed man shoots an unarmed civilian, even that alone should be case for the anti-police crowd to go wild. But they didn't happen. Why? Because the media wasn't spinning them up in a frenzy. The media wasn't showing them the footage of Ashley Babbitt's death over and over and over again, saying, "Wow, this you're next. And the same thing that we saw, even with the people in Chauvin's trial, where you see all the different gentlemen who are wearing Black Lives Matter, my neck is next, or whatever slogan that they were saying is like, it could have been us. That's one of the biggest issues that we see is the media is the one who pushes the people to protest. The media is the one who tells the people, hey, this is what actually happened. Don't look at the 44,000 hours of footage that actually came out. Don't do any research for yourself. It's kind of like when the leaked Podesta emails where Cuomo was saying, actually, you're not allowed to look into this, only us, the media. Is that the famous clip from Cuomo?
That was, yeah. We're the qualified ones to look into this.
Oh, we're allowed to look into it. Just trust us on this.
Chris Cuomo. Did you ever see his, sorry, I have to touch this because he's a freaking total liar. His tricep extensions with the dumbbells, 100-pound dumbbells, bullshit, dude. Total full of crap. That right there is why you don't trust the media.
I might get a 100-pound dumbbell and just start cranking them out here,
It's fake weights.
Fake weights and fake news.
But my point to this is we see this new 44,000 hours released by Mike Johnson, and I have not gone through it, but there's a lot of other organizations that have gone through it, and most of it is just people walking through hallways. We see the police, and what people are saying is the police are inciting this. They're the ones that they had a peaceful crowd.
To me then, which literally...
There was a peaceful crowd, and they weren't even getting violent, and the police started throwing munitions into the crowd, and that's what started causing the frenzy of everything, and they're being attacked. I mean, we have several Twitter footage accounts of this. We even have people deleting stuff. There was a clip where someone was like, hey, we're going to delete all of this stuff so that they don't see it. But then, of course, all this stuff is public.
Everyone has a camera, so.
Yeah, you can pull all this stuff up. And then you have the case of Matthew Murner. He literally just walked through the hallways of the Capitol, didn't commit any violence. DOJ tried to go after him for 6 to 12 months. He ended up killing himself shortly after he heard about the DOJ implications. So, I mean, we're seeing Americans being killed because of our judicial system is being so harsh on them for literally just simply being there. Obviously, we touch on Owen Schroyer every single time because he's the martyr for free speech, and he's one of the most popular media figures that's being currently persecuted and in solitary confinement. We don't see any fairness when we try to insurrect. And that leads me to my next question. Is there a reasonable time for an insurrection? Because, look, our government was created almost based off an insurrection. I mean, not a single event, but we revolted against the government, and we went against the grain. We threw all the tea in the harbor. That was the start of it. Do you believe that if a government is oppressive and a government is tyrannical, that the people should fight up against it, especially considering our willpower is not what it used to be? Peacefully.
Peacefully. That's a good one, Zane. You're winding me up here. I do think there is a time and there is a place when Americans need to understand that our freedoms are under attack and we need to take back our freedoms. Whether it be to elect a person like the lion himself from Argentina, that can be an answer, but at the same time, what do we do when our elections are stolen? There is a point in which we have...
Great night, guys.